Hello, everybody. This is John Paval with Access Arts Live, and this week's roundup of big stage live stream action. We have it's an interesting week that we have set up that's coming to you. We've got passionate orchestral works from Bournemouth to Cincinatti. We got top soloists in the UK and Finland and Germany, top quality opera from the Vienna State Opera, free of charge again, and a new composition celebrating the 250th anniversary of the United States of America. And I'm here to tell you all about these things. Before I go any further, let me remind you, if you like top quality live performing arts, do yourself a favor. Follow and/or subscribe to Access Arts Live on Facebook, YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, or LinkedIn, and we'll make sure you get more than 1,000 live links to thousands of hours of opera, ballet, orchestras, chamber music, organ recitals, piano competitions, and more in the coming year. Having said all that, let us then move on to the first of this week's live streams that I want to tell you about. Mark Wigglesworth leads the Bournemouth Symphony Orchestra in works by Frank Bridge, Rachmaninoff, and pianist Alexandre Tarot, the French pianist, on Ravel's concerto for piano in G. That will be Wednesday, March 11th, 8:30 in the evening European time, 3:30 in the afternoon on the East Coast, and 12:30 noon on the West Coast. Mark Wigglesworth, he's also the chief conductor at the Adelaide Symphony down in Australia, in opposite hemispheres. And he started out with both orchestras the same way. He came in to do a guest conducting gig, and they liked him so much that they almost immediately, both of them, said, "We want you to be our next chief conductor." And that's how that happens. As for the pianist, Alexandre Tarot, let me show you Alexandre Tarot because I have a picture of him as well. There he is. There's the band. Alexandre Tarot, he's a Frenchman. He has put out over 25 solo albums, many of which were award-winning. He has recorded Couperin, Bach, Scarlatti, Mozart, Beethoven, Schubert, Chopin, Brahms, and Rachmaninoff, and the major 20th century composers, Ravel and Satie and Debussy, etc. His highlights this year include playing with the Bavarian Radio Symphony, the Orchestre de Paris, the Paris Orchestra, the Orchestre Nationale de France, the Santa Cecilia Orchestra, the Tokyo Metropolitan Symphony, OSESP, the Sao Paulo Symphony, Cincinnati Symphony, etc. He's a busy guy. The concert starts with Frank Bridge's Summer, which was a tone poem for orchestra that he wrote at the beginning of World War I. He was so shocked by what was going on, he went out to the countryside and just wrote a nice piece about summer. They do that. People like Elgar has some lovely summer music kind of pieces. Then they'll do Ravel's Piano Concerto in G, which is one of his later works. And we've seen a lot of, March Vivo has done a lot of live streaming of chamber works by people like Ravel and the other composers of that era, based on Spanish and Basque melodies. And here you have it in a concerto. And then they'll finish up with the rousing Rachmaninoff Symphony No. 3. Bournemouth Symphony Orchestra, always a good time. It is not free of charge. They charge £11 to enjoy their live streams. So that's that's later today, as a matter of fact. Then we move on, I think, to tomorrow. And he's back. By that I mean the violinist conductor Jan Söderblom is back this week, live streaming with the Lahti Symphony in Finland and a Back to Nature program playing Vivaldi's The Seasons and conducting Beethoven's Pastoral Symphony, the Symphony number 6. That's on Thursday, March 12th at 5:30 in the evening in Europe, 12:30 in the afternoon on the East Coast, 9:30 in the morning on the West Coast. Late night, 1:30 down under in Australia, a little earlier than that. That's if you're in Sydney or Melbourne. If you're on the West Coast, Perth, it's a couple hours earlier, I think. Anyway, Jan Söderblom is both a conductor and a violinist, so he'll be playing the violin in the Vivaldi concertos, The Seasons, he's one of these conductors who likes doing that. It's like one of the Gautier brothers, Renaud Gautier, loves to do the same thing, play and conduct in the same performance. And I say he's back because last week he was conducting and playing with the Tapiola Sinfonietta, which is in Espoo, Finland. And he's a Finnish guy. The artistic director of the Finnish Chamber Orchestra, first concert master of the Helsinki Phil. He's the artistic director of 3 annual festivals in Finland, and he moves around, like conducting on occasion with Helsinki Phil, the Finnish Radio Phil, the Tampere Phil, Lahti Symphony Orchestra this week, Tapiola last week. That's his thing. And if you like him, if you're one of his fans, you will love this concert, free of charge. And there's another concert on Thursday as well. We do not have a great number of concerts this week, but all of them are really interesting concerts, I have to say, and very different from each other. Up-and-coming Austrian conductor Katharina Wincor leads the Frankfurt Radio Orchestra in works by Mendelssohn, Strauss, and Schubert, with Frankfurt's own French horn player Christian Katzenberger playing the French horn in Strauss's Horn Concerto number 1. That's on Thursday too at 7 o'clock in the evening. So it's about an hour and a half after the Lahti Symphony. You can watch one after the other. Or 2 o'clock in the afternoon on the East Coast, 11 in the morning on the West Coast. The Mendelssohn piece they begin with is Legend of the Fair Melusine. Then they do Strauss's Horn Concerto number 1, and then they finish up with I missed what they're finishing up with in my notes. Schubert Symphony number 5 is what they finish up with. This was when he was still finishing them. Katzenberger is the principal horn player with the Frankfurt Radio Symphony Orchestra. He also teaches at the Mainz University of Music. Before that, he was with the Frankfurt Opera and the Hessischer Rundfunk, which is the Hessischer or the Hessian Radio Phil. But he's also played with the Berlin Phil, the Bavarian Radio Symphony, the Staatskapelle in Berlin. He's a German French horn specialist. And Katharina Wincor, and he's fairly young. He's just getting settled in now, I think, with Frankfurt Radio Orchestra. And Katharina Wincor, she's still up and coming. I don't see she has a permanent post anywhere, even as a principal guest conductor, but she's having a busy season. She's only 31 years old, so that's very early years for a conductor. This season she's conducting the Berlin Radio Philharmonic, the Halle Orchestra in Birmingham, the Bremer Philharmonic, the Bavarian State Opera. That's a debut for her. The Milwaukee Symphony. She's also had guest conducting engagements with the SWR Symphony, with the Cologne Phil, with the Detroit Symphony, one of my favorites, with the National Symphony Orchestra in Washington, D.C., and with OSESP, the Sao Paulo Symphony Orchestra. So she's getting a lot of work these days and moving up in the ranks and receiving very good reviews in the press when she conducts. Also on Thursday, we have opera for you this week. I mean, Thursday is loaded, and then we don't have anything for you on Friday or Saturday yet. But take heart. There are places like the Gulbenkian Orchestra and the Sao Paulo Orchestra that they don't announce in advance. And I go on their websites. I can't figure anything out about when they're going to be live streaming or not. And then there's the Moscow Phil and the St. Petersburg Phil, and they never announce what they're live streaming till like the day of or the day before. So you may still have a chance of enjoying something. Let me get to this Vienna opera, La Clemenza di Tito. Thursday, March 12th, the Vienna State Opera is back live streaming again with Mozart's La Clemenza di Tito, with the conductor Pablo Heras Casado, staging by John Lowers, featuring Catlejo Mocoabane, Hannah Elizabeth Müller, Florine Ilie, Emily D'Angelo, Alma Neuhaus, and Matthäus Franza. That'll be at 7 in the evening on Thursday, 2 o'clock in the afternoon on the East Coast, 11 in the morning on the West Coast. If you love opera, this is top quality opera, free of charge. I will do a separate live stream. Sometime probably tomorrow, we'll put it up early in the day to give you the background on who the different singers are, so you know who's coming at you when the performance starts. And that's not all. There is one more live stream on Thursday night. Everybody's live streaming on Thursday night, so I do not know how you are going to choose between these. But you will have to. Tito Munoz leads the SWR Symphony, that's in Stuttgart basically, in works by Wagner, Bartók, Janáček, and Prokofiev, with violinist Patricia Kopachinskaya joining in on the piece by Bartók on Thursday, March 12th. That's at 8 o'clock in the evening, European time, 3 o'clock on the East Coast, noon on the West Coast, 6 in the morning, the next morning down under in Australia, Friday morning. They'll start out with, they start and they finish with very dramatic pieces. Wagner's Prelude and Liebestod from his musical drama Tristan und Isolde. They'll finish with Prokofiev's excerpts from the ballet Romeo and Juliet, Opus 64, about a half dozen excerpts from there. And then in between, the second thing they do is Bela Bartók's Violin Concerto No. 1 with Kopachinskaya performing this piece. She played Bartók's second violin concerto with the London Symphony Orchestra this year. And there's a whole story behind this concerto that I want to tell you a little bit about, because it involves the young Bartók falling in love with Steffi Geyer. And they were very young. This is the early 1900s. Bartók is in his mid-20s. Steffi Geyer is even younger than he is, and she'd already made a tour, including in the United States, as a child prodigy of a violinist. And they're both there in Budapest. And this young guy, you can see both of those photos are autograph photos that I found. This young guy falls desperately in love with this young woman, and she's honest, and she has to tell him, well, this is not going to happen. And he's so heartbroken that he goes away and he composes this concerto. Now, the YouTube listing for this performance also says they're going to play Bartók's second movement from his two pictures for violin and orchestra, Opus 5, but I do not find that same listing on the website for the SWR Orchestra, so I'm not sure of it. After that, then in the second half of the program, they played Janáček's String Quartet No. 1, the Kreutzer Sonata, arranged for string orchestra, and then the Prokofiev piece. Kopachinskaya has more than 30 recordings to her credit. She's an established performer by now, won the Swiss Grand Prix for music in 2017. She's an artistic partner of the SWR Symphony Orchestra now, also an associate artist of the SWR Experimental Studio, artist in residence. She was the artist in residence at the Clara Festival in 2025. She was the artist in residence with SWR a few years ago, back in 2020, 2021. This season, her dance card has her playing with the Staatskapelle Berlin, has her playing as the performing as the artist portrait with the London Symphony Orchestra, where she does Berg's violin concerto, Marton Iles's violin concerto, goes on a tour to Spain, and as I mentioned, plays Bartók's second violin concerto. Then she's doing a performance of her own double concerto, she's a composer too, for violin and cello, Five Dreams, at the Lucerne Festival Forward, doing a debut with the Cleveland Orchestra. She has two other stage projects that she does, one called Dies Irae, which is part concert, part installation, being put on at Princeton University. And it's a critique of war and the climate crisis, and a critique of our penchant for self-destruction. And at the Salzburg Festival, she's reviving another project of hers called Les Adieux, the goodbyes, about the rapid deterioration of the natural world. and she'll be playing the world premiere of a violin concerto by somebody else, Stefano Gervasoni, with the Philharmonic Orchestra of Radio France. So busy top artist to hear. I'm sure she'll do a fine job with that Bartók piece. Then I want to tell you a little bit about the conductor as well, since we have time. The conductor is Tito Munoz. And Tito spent 10 years as the head guy at the Phoenix Symphony Orchestra, but that ended a couple years ago. Before that, he was with the opera in Lorraine, France. Before that, he did assistant conducting with the Cleveland Orchestra and the Cincinnati Orchestra and the Aspen Music Festival. So while he was doing that, he got to know a lot of the top orchestras in North America, in Atlanta, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Dallas, Detroit, etc. This year, he's doing debuts with the New Jersey Symphony, the Nashville Symphony, Antwerp, the Vienna Philharmonic, the Nuremberg Symphony Orchestra, the Comic Opera in Berlin, and return pieces, this one with SWR Symphony and the New York Phil. So two top people, and we're looking to see where is Tito Munoz going to end up next. And then we have just one more live stream to tell you about this week that I'm sure of. And we'll have to come back to you with other information if and when the time comes. The Cincinnati Symphony Orchestra celebrates the 250th year of the United States of America with a command performance of top composer Peter Boyer's American Mosaic, complete with 4K video imagery from across the country based on photographs taken by top photographer Joe Sohm, and featuring Martin Sheen doing the narration. That's at 7 o'clock European time. Is it? Yeah, 2 o'clock in the afternoon in Cincinnati, 11 in the morning on the West Coast. This is a new work that Peter Boyer composed. It has video imagery from all 50 states. It has passages from much of Boyer's other American-themed orchestral music pieces. And quotes from American history. I mean, this is going to be super Americana. His works have received over 900 public performances by more than 300 orchestras. Tens of thousands of broadcasts on classical radio stations in the U.S. and some abroad. He's conducted recordings of his music with the London Symphony, the Philharmonia Orchestra, and the London Phil. They've gotten millions of plays on Apple Music and Spotify. His major work is called Ellis Island, The Dream of America for Actors and Orchestra. And that's been performed over 300 times by 130 orchestras since its premiere about 20 years ago. And this new one then is an event which builds on all of that. It was commissioned by the National Symphony Orchestra, which is at the Kennedy Center or the Trump Kennedy Center, depending on your views, the Cincinnati Symphony Orchestra, the Pacific Symphony, and the Williamsburg Symphony Orchestra. So it's an original score in 11 continuous movements. So it's not a symphony. You know that. It's something else. And I can show you, here's the composer, Peter Boyer. And he's also a conductor. So he knows music on more than just from writing it. And I want to show you when it comes to Joe Soames, the photographer. Well, here's Joe Soames. Oh, and there's Joe Soames. And there. These are all Alami photos. Most of his photos, the good photos, are by Alami, and I want to give credit to them for them. But this is a guy who will go anywhere, and has gone anywhere, to take a photograph, from Alaska down to Arizona to Manhattan to Orlando, Florida, or wherever those pictures are from. So if you're a European, this is a chance for you to get, at a primetime time over there in Europe, an exposure to how Americans see themselves when one of their top composers puts together. And for those of you who are Americans, of course, it features Martin Sheen, who played the president in the very popular season, The West Wing, which many people still watch and is still very popular. So this will be really America putting a great foot forward for both Americans and Europeans to enjoy, if you ask me. Some people do ask me. I mean, I do have this program, you know. Folks, that's what we have for you this week. I hope that one, some, or any of these live streams uplifts you, inspires you, or just shows you a heck of a good time. And I'll remind you before closing that if you like this kind of quality performing arts, do yourself a favor, follow and or subscribe to Access Arts Live. We're on Facebook, YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, and Threads. And in return, we'll make sure you get more than 1,000 live links to live performances, thousands of hours of live performances of orchestras, opera, ballet, chamber music, organ recitals, piano competitions, and more every year. And it's absolutely free of charge to follow us and or subscribe to us. With that, I will say ciao for now. I will be back one more time this week on Friday at 5:30 European time, which will be noon on the East Coast and 9:30 in the morning on the West Coast. I will be doing a live interview with Robert Voisi, who is going to be live streaming along with Mike McFerron, the entirety of the Electronic Music Festival, which is going to be going on in the Midwestern United States. So that's an entire conference, again, being live streamed, which if you're interested in now music, very contemporary music, this is something you want to tune into and enjoy. And we'll be happy to take questions from anybody who's in the chat boxes on any of our platforms while we're live streaming. Ciao for now.